All right, guys, welcome. Jawn and Sonic, great to have you guys with us. We really appreciate you taking your time out of your day to come and hang with us and tell us a little bit about Takepile. Guys, super hyped to have you here. How you guys doing today?
Pretty
Great,
good.
thank you.
Good.
For having us.
No, it's great. I'm really looking forward. We're really looking forward to hearing about Takepile. So let's just kick it straight off, guys. What is Takepile?
So I guess in a sentence, Takepile is an isolated, no slippage, leverage trading protocol. But with that, we've also brought a really creative DeFi suite to the product, so that it kind of what we would call encourages sticky liquidity. So people are staying within the ecosystem itself. And probably the biggest point to kind of push across the board from an innovation standpoint is that we guarantee position solvency within the trading platform itself. Not something really anyone has done up to this point is a leverage trading protocol. So that's probably our biggest point of differentiation. But I guess, in a nutshell, we're a leverage trading protocol with no slippage. So it's an alternative to trading the macro environment. And really that guaranteed position solvency is a big player for us.
Right. Okay. You guys are like innovating and doing some new stuff. That sounds brilliant. So how are Takepile trading markets priced? How do you guys do that?
So we use the Oracle system. So Chainlink and then another partner of ours, Dia, for our price feed data. So we have like the stable and reliable source of price feed data for our trading markets. With that said, kind of two different uses for those two, and I think Sonic can probably push in on this one a little bit more, but we use the two for two different sort of facets within the protocol itself, Chainlink being the standard for a lot of the macro tokens, and then Dia is a partner of ours who we've just recently started working with and are really excited to kind of push that partnership forward. But they do custom price feed oracles. So essentially, let's say, we put a vote out to the community and we're like, hey, what's the next tradable market that you guys would like? It could be Doge, SHIB, or the next whatever meme coin that comes out. It can be, other tokens for, call it larger holders to hedge their positions against. We can get price feed data for that. So effectively, we have an infinitely scalable trading environment so that we can have as many markets as really the community desires.
Right.
And that's probably kind of the two big pieces there.
That's pretty huge. That's pretty awesome. I'd love to hear it. And you were saying as well, maybe Sonic, you want to go into about, you guys were saying that it guaranteed solvency. How is a trading position on Takepile guaranteed to be solvent?
Right. So in broad strokes, right, a user can deposit USDB, which is going to be the underlying asset of a pile. And then they'll receive pile USDB in return, which is what users will then go to open and then get paid out of closed positions with. The pile USDB token is essentially, it's comparable to like an LP token, and it's representative of your share of ownership of the pile. So the more shares of the pile that you possess, the larger your entitlement you have to the underlying assets, which makes it very similar to that LP token, like I said, of representing your share of ownership in a liquidity pool. And with this system is how we're actually able to guarantee solvency. And kind of calling back to what Jawn said about Dia, is that's part of what makes us so scalable as a perpetual DEX.
Right. Okay. That's huge. That's really cool. And that was going to be the next thing that I wanted to ask. Like, how are you guys planning to scale? Like, how does Takepile scale in the long term?
So I guess, again, in from a high level, because of the liquidity system, you'll hear a lot about that. Spoiler alert, because that is the biggest thing that probably we can say we've innovated in.
Yeah.
Is with that liquidity system, there is no limits to markets. Number one, as we kind of mentioned earlier. So the integration of tradable markets, that's obviously an infinite roadmap. A few of the interesting ones that we're already talking about as a team are like Forex, traditional finance. So, we could have a USDB SPX pile, the S&P 500, for those who aren't, into American finance. We can get price feeds for, the British. I'm assuming you're British, so the British pound, for example, and trade the forex market. So there's innovation on that side too. Some draws that some of the bigger players have, but haven't been able to do well because of that liquidity system. That we have that is bespoke to us, and call it Takepile's part of Takepile's secret sauce.
Yeah, I love
and then another thing that I'd throw out there too is the opportunity for leverage trading. Obviously, at its very core, all the perp dexes offer some amount of leverage. We offer the most of the core competitive segment because we don't require certain. We don't require the massive amounts of liquidity that another platform will need to support a larger leveraged position.
Right,
so
okay.
Off the bat, we're going to be releasing a new leveraged pile every week, all the way up to 200x. That'll be kind of month 2 of operations.
Wow.
But with each of those new markets that we have launched, we can also launch those within the leverage piles. So there's not really it's not a slow roll in terms of added features. If we wanted to tomorrow, we could turn on 200x leverage for Doge. Obviously there's some dev time in there and whatnot, but just to give that kind of exaggerated example. So I think those are the two big things from a scaling standpoint. And then obviously the last thing I think that we're looking at is really just the long term of this product on Fantom, and then our partnership with Balance being, they're continuously innovating more on the finance side, and with their kind of different products that they're branching out. I think we're going to see synergies between the two groups for significantly longer than what we're doing today. So I think kind of the sky's the limit with the way our system is built and the way that Balance thinks.
That's fantastic. That sounds absolutely awesome. I love the fact as well that you picked up on the fact I'm British, because a lot of people say, "Oh, what's it like over in Australia?" No idea, because I'm actually in Northern Ireland. So, but brilliant. So you talked quite a bit about how you guys differ from like other dexes. Can you tell us a little bit more about, all the different items that you guys have got? How many, all the key points of differentiation between you guys and these other perp dexes?
Yeah, so I would say we kind of look at ourselves as an alternative, right? I think the first sort of mission statement, man, we've been on this project, me and Sonic, as well as the rest of the core team, for, man, we're pushing 8 months now. So I think our core statement was I know, right? It feels like 8 years.
You're right, dude.
8 years in crypto time.
Big time.
We really looked at ourselves as a macro trading alternative. So let's use Bitcoin as the example, right? We know people trade Bitcoin on your centralized exchanges, FTX, KuCoin, Bybit, and the like. So we know that's sort of an audience. Yeah. And there's challenges with that. We know people trade, Bitcoin on, since we're on Fantom, on Spooky Swap, so a traditional DEX. And then we have, call it the liquidity challenge that we saw within the current perp DEX market. So we really see ourselves as a macro trading alternative, and a big piece for those macro traders is slippage. A lot of, products do have some amount of slippage, and when you're trading high volume or large volume trades, that plays a factor. So that's our kind of key point there.
Wow.
The second one, again, I'm going to hammer it home, is the guaranteed position solvency.
Yep.
So in theory, if everybody makes the exact same trade at the exact time and closes that same winning trade at the same time, there is not going to be a run on our liquidity because of the way that pile system works. You are, again, entitled to your ownership of what is in that pile, the underlying asset. So you will be able to swap back out, and effectively you get your money. You're getting your money back.
That's huge. That's huge.
Something that has not been done. Yeah, that's something honestly we're really proud of.
Yeah.
And then like I touched on before is this sticky liquidity. With that being, we bring a full DeFi suite, your single staking, your dual staking, as well as like different mechanisms for fee share. So you can, just to kind of run through the mechanics of each one briefly, within the piles, right, you would deposit your USDB, you receive pile USDB back. If you were to not be opening positions, let's say, because again, you open your positions with that pile token. Let's say you're not using your entire, pile USDB capital to open a position. We have incentivized staking there, so a single stake for you for take, so to grow our liquidity. Again, then the dual staking, so we'll have your standard liquidity pool for the take token itself.
Right.
And then when you're staking take, so you can stake your take for fee share. So obviously with all trades, there is a fee in opening and closing. You can stake your take, and then fee share is generated back into, or revenue is generated back into the system into, with the users. So that's kind of the value accrual mechanism for the take token itself. So there's a couple different mechanisms. There are really kind of three that we use to incentivize not just trading with the product itself, but then keeping people within the ecosystem. So we really want to bring people into Takepile for whatever reason, be it they're a trader, they're in DeFi, they're looking to trade the macro environment. There's a particular token they want to hedge but not affect their stacking position, so they want to trade volatility, but not have to let go of some of their stacks on whatever it might be. So we want to keep those people within the environment itself. And so obviously with that we have up to 200x leverage. That's what we're starting with, kind of week by week. We have right now access of over 20 markets, right, which then with the DIA partnership, that's basically an infinite scale. So we'll obviously be analyzing all the time of what we want to reintroduce or what we want to introduce.
For sure.
A couple other kind of cool smaller features too. So one thing we can do is private trading piles, which is like, let's say we have like a particular influencer we're partnered with. Yeah. They can set up basically their own private trading environment, so their community are the only ones that have access to the pile.
Oh, that's cool.
Exactly, it's something really innovative. I think that that's not going to be our main selling point, obviously, but I think that's one of those features that'll keep people around and see that we're kind of doing things differently within this space. Let's say you, Dusky, wanted to bring your friends into a trading competition, you could get your friends in on it. And it's just your...
Yeah, that's fantastic. It's a bit of a niche as well. You don't hear of many many platforms offering that kind of thing. I really like that. That's really nice.
Yeah, it's again just one of those things that we're seeing as being innovative thinking in the space, not just doing what is the status quo for perp decks. And I guess the last two things really is for a bit more of the advanced kind of on the DeFi side, we have a utility NFT which basically whitelists you to run a liquidation bot. So when leverage trades are liquidated, the liquidation is called off of a bot, and so bot operators can share in those fees as well. So basically, like the position value. So that's just a little bit more of an advanced fee share mechanism. And then really kind of, I guess to round it off, while there have been some recent competitors within the perp deck space sort of attempt to dabble in the Fantom network, we are the first that is kind of native to Fantom, built with Fantom in mind and with the audience of Fantom in mind. So we like to consider ourselves, I'm going to claim first mover because I said it here, but there is somebody else on the network. I will say, not doing it the best. So we are kind of the first native Fantom, we can call it.
Yep, I love it. That's fantastic. Those are amazing points that you brought across. I mean, you guys have already given us like an absolute ton of information, and it's very exciting what you guys are building. I'm certainly looking forward to seeing how it kind of rolls out and seeing how it takes its place in balance. This is huge. Sonic, I just wanted to go over as well, just before we finish up. So, you know, in almost sort of like a rounding off in a summary way, what am I investing in if I get into this? And as well, how is the APR supported?
Sure. So in essence, you're investing in the Pile liquidity system, right? Which we've talked about a lot here. Because of this system, we can kind of allow this partnership vault with Balance to lock up your tokens for them to contribute to our initial trading liquidity. And because we can guarantee position solvency, the fees generated in opening and closing positions is how the principal and then the premium is paid back to the funders over time.
Brilliant. That's huge. Listen, guys, this is great stuff. What you guys are building is amazing. And it's very exciting to hear about all of this. Jawn, Sonic, thank you so much for joining us today and doing this with us. Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Likewise. Thanks for the time. Appreciate it.
Cheers.